So, you've sent out a ton of resumes for medical coding jobs, and all you've heard back is a whole lot of nothing. Or maybe you're on track to earn your credential, and all you see online is complaints that the industry is saturated. There's no more room for new coders. You're starting to wonder if getting certified and pouring all that time and money into this was a huge mistake. And I get it, it is frustrating. All those job postings asking for 2 to 5 years of experience when all you have is a CPC-A, wondering if you'll ever find a job after you've been searching 6+ months. It feels impossible to even get your resume in front of someone, anyone. If you've found yourself in a seemingly never ending cycle of applications and rejections, or you're joining the industry and you're afraid of never landing that first job, this video is for you. I'm going to cover the reality of hiring in the medical coding industry in 2026, how you can quickly improve your resume without a complete rewrite, and I'm going to share the tips that have led me to some of the best opportunities in the industry in the past 10 years. Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Madison and I'm a certified medical coding instructor. Every day I work with students who are preparing to take the CPC exam, and my main goal is always to provide the same level of mentorship that helped me get to where I am right now. Today I want to talk about a topic that seems like it's always making the rounds online. In many circles, there's a negative consensus that the industry is oversaturated with coders, that it takes months to land even one interview, and many comments warn new coders to cut their losses and move on. Understandably, many people follow this advice when they too struggle to find a job shortly after earning their credential. While I'm not discounting anybody's real experience with the hiring process, these ideas of the market being oversaturated and the lack of jobs at every experience level are the exact same comments I heard a decade ago when I got started. Back then, I heard about medical coding from someone exiting the industry because of the lack of opportunities. Yeah, that's right. I purposefully joined an industry despite my first impression of it being an oversaturated one. What helped me find a job was the advice of my excellent mentor, who taught me not just how to code, but also gave me practical advice on how to set myself up for success and sell myself to potential employers. That's a big key, selling yourself. Now, I want to get into all the details of these tips, but first, let's have a real talk about the state of the medical coding industry today and how truly difficult it is to find new opportunities, especially as a brand new coder. Medical coding is a stable, well paying career with a relatively low barrier to entry. Now, low doesn't mean no, and in this case, what I mean by a low barrier is that a college degree is not typically required for most roles. The majority of coding roles are open to you with skills training and certification alone. The cost of training and certification is much lower than obtaining a degree, so it can be more accessible to more people. This combination of stability, good pay and benefits, and accessibility to the field creates more competition. In recent years, there's also been a jump in the number of remote roles within the industry. However, that doesn't mean that they're so abundant that everyone who wants to work remotely can. These roles are even more competitive because they're some of the most desirable out there and they're in shorter supply than in person roles. Although there has been growth in the industry over the past several years, another hard truth that we need to talk about is that no, there are not enough jobs to go around for one reason or another. But this isn't unusual either. Most industries do not have enough jobs for every single person who wants a role to have one. This contributes to even more competition between applicants. The competition for coding roles can be fierce, but it's also not unusual for any industry that offers good jobs without a degree and with the possibility of working from home. This level of competition means that the least competitive and least motivated individuals are not likely to get a job. Now, notice how I didn't say least experienced. It's not always about the amount of experience you have or don't have. You can absolutely have no experience and still grab a job quickly after your exam if you have motivation and a competitive edge. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, well, how do I get one of these jobs if it's so hard, right? Well, it starts with having a motivated mindset, a solid resume, and knowing where to find quality job postings. Finding real job openings in this new world of ghost jobs, as many call them, is a skill in itself, but I'll talk about this in detail later in the video. When you're searching for jobs, having a motivated mindset is important and can make or break your search. You've probably heard that animals can smell or sense fear, and although this might sound like a silly analogy, it's also true of hiring managers and sensing an applicant's lack of motivation. These people are specifically trained to sniff out the best candidate for the job, and they're not just looking for experience or a flashy resume. They want to know that you'll be a dedicated employee. Now, I'm not saying you have to sell your soul to a job. Not at all. Don't do that. What I am saying is that you need to want, deep down, to be a medical coder. You need to want to do the work and make a difference. When you really want a job, it shines through in the way that you speak about yourself and your experience. It makes your smile more genuine, and you send the right little signals to the hiring manager to trigger their sense that you're motivated. But what if you don't really want to be a medical coder? What if you have doubts? What if you don't like something about the role? These also come across whether you realize it or not. It's almost imperceptible in the way that you speak and your expressions. But the hiring manager is trained to see these as well, and this can often be where someone who has a strong resume ends up falling short. If you truly have doubts about your choice to become a medical coder or to continue in your career, have a real conversation with yourself or a trusted friend or family member. If you can't muster up the motivation that you need, consider stepping back to reconsider your career. This may just be a break from a grueling job search, or you may find yourself looking to other goals. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you failed. You need to do what's best for you. Motivation is your first key to success because it not only signals your willingness to do the job well, but also helps you sell yourself. Being able to effectively sell yourself as a hardworking individual and the unique experience and skills that you bring to the table is the second key. While you'll do a lot of selling in the interview phase, this part starts with a strong resume. You can think of your resume like an advertisement. Think back to the last ad that really caught your attention. There are a lot out there all the time, but was there one that you watched for longer than usual or even clicked on? What about the ad caught your eye? Was it the wording, the colors, a picture of a cute dog? Ads are designed to catch your attention and draw you in. Your resume should do the same thing, but unlike a catchy tune splashed over a cute video, your resume needs to draw attention with its detail, descriptiveness, and most importantly, its key words. I could go on for an entire separate video about just resumes, but today I'm going to talk about a quick fix that you can make to your resume that will improve it instantly, and that's improving your keywords. Most employers that accept online job applications use an applicant tracking system, or ATS. This is software that collects, filters, and weeds out applications based on the employer's role requirements. These systems are designed to remove resumes and applications that don't fit the requirements of the job posting in order to save the hiring manager some time. What the systems are looking for is keywords, and lack of the correct keywords can mean your resume is dumped without ever being seen. An old school way of figuring out what keywords employers want to see on your resume is to sift through job postings and pick up on the keywords out of those descriptions. But this is 2026, not 1996. So instead, let's look at how we can leverage AI to do this process for us. And before you say no way to AI, let me offer you this tip. AI is a powerful tool that can cut this processing time into a fraction. When I used to do this process a decade ago, it literally took me days to look over dozens of job postings. This year, I completely rewrote my resume from scratch and I used AI to help me pull the latest keywords. So I finished in about 2 hours. If you use this tool to just swap keywords, you could probably be finished in under half an hour. I used Copilot from Microsoft, but you can use any AI tool you prefer. Claude AI is another I highly recommend. Attach a copy of your current resume, then ask, what keywords or phrases can I add or change to improve my medical coding resume? Now, not every single keyword it's going to spit out will make a whole lot of sense, so it's still up to you to use your best judgment in selecting the keywords that you'll use. My search gave me new keywords such as end-to-end revenue cycle, coding validation, and cross-functional collaboration. I used about 10 of the new keywords out of the 20 or 30 or so it provided, and I sent out 17 copies of this new resume. I immediately received 2 interview requests within just a few days, which is a great start. Now, for total transparency, even as strong as my resume is with 10 years of experience and multiple credentials, I still got 5 rejections back. 2 of these were within less than 24 hours, meaning my resume was probably weeded out by the ATS. So I still have some work to do on improving it, but I can clearly see that keywords make a difference for both good and bad. Don't be afraid to send your resume out to as many good employers as possible. My strategy has always been to never stop applying, even though I have a full time job. You never know what will come around the corner next, and it may be the best opportunity you've ever received. You won't know unless you apply. Now, that said, you don't want to send your resume to just any old place. You need to know how to sort the quality job postings from the ghost jobs, scams, and poor quality postings that are red flags for crummy employers. Ghost jobs are really tricky to spot, sometimes impossible. These are postings from employers that look entirely legit, but there's no actual job opening behind them. You can search for jobs on a number of websites like the AAPC job board, Indeed, LinkedIn, and more. My number one tip though is to go straight to an employer's careers portal on their website and apply there. While this might take a little more work on the front end to search up a bunch of employers in your area or around the country if you're looking for something remote, and you can do this easily on Google Maps, it will pay off in the long run because not only are you avoiding most scams and ghost jobs, your resume is very likely being saved to that employer's database rather than just the application that you filed. The employer may call you for a different position that they feel fits your experience better, which may be an even better opportunity that you didn't know about. If you'd still prefer the ease of applying through a job board, you want to keep a few tips in mind to avoid getting scammed or wasting your time. Stick with newer postings, the more recent the better, and avoid old postings or ones you've noticed may have been reposted, especially if they've been reposted multiple times. If you have the time, cross check that the posting is listed on the employer's own website. If it's not, it's very likely a scam. Pay close attention to the wording, too. If you see vague descriptions or obvious grammatical and spelling errors, that's another red flag that the job posting is either a scam or it's coming from a poor quality employer that you don't want to waste your time on. For my new coders without experience and anyone who's been struggling for a while to find a job, sending in application after application can feel discouraging. If you've applied to dozens or even hundreds of jobs without a positive response, first go back to your resume. Make sure it looks good. Check out those keywords like we talked about. Now, if you really struggle to write a strong resume, that's okay. You can use AI to help you draft a better framework, or you may want to consider reaching out to a professional resume writer. If you're sending resumes and applications and you're getting interviews but no follow up offer, consider the questions you were asked and how you answered them. If you aren't motivated, like I said earlier, that will come across to the hiring manager. But some people struggle with being too honest in interviews, or they're motivated but they're too shy to sell themselves. Write down the questions you were asked and try to think of ways you might have answered them more confidently. A big question I get from new coders about this is how to sell themselves with no experience. You want to talk about achieving your goals to getting your certification, any skills you may have picked up from past positions or volunteer work, even if you don't think that they're super relevant, and how excited you are to learn even more. Your motivation to get that job is really going to help impress the hiring manager on these points. If you still find you're getting no response to your applications, look to your local AAPC or AHEMA chapter and career fairs in your area. These are great networking opportunities. Instead of fighting to get your resume through an ATS system that may hit delete before you can get a chance to speak with someone, networking in person or even virtually can help get you in front of someone with fewer barriers. One of my first jobs was through a friend of a family member, so don't be afraid to network a little closer to home, too. All right, that was a lot of information, so let's run through what we talked about today. The two keys to success for landing a new job in the highly competitive medical coding industry are motivation to be a coder and the ability to sell yourself as a great employee, whether or not you have experience. Your resume plays a huge role in getting you in front of a hiring manager, but you have the option to network in person if you can't find the right keywords to get your resume past an applicant tracking system. And you now know how to avoid scams and ghost jobs, which will help you maintain efficiency in your job search. I want to assure you that getting your certification was not a mistake. It's tough for everybody out there, and the negativity isn't going away anytime soon. Keep your head up, keep looking for your next opportunity, and you're going to find it. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to drop them in the chat below. Thank you for watching.